I'm really excited that you guys agreed to talk with me today. I just wanted to talk to you guys a bit about your story and finding each other. I was curious if you two could talk a bit about your upbringing and kind of going into as much detail about that as you want. Where in Guatemala you two were adopted from, where you ended up being raised, and what those environments were like.
We were both born in Chiquimula, Guatemala. That's
Okay.
where we were both born. Yeah.
Yep. Uh, I really don't remember anything from Guatemala because I was like, you know, a child, a baby, a year. I was like year and a half. Yeah. And so I was adopted by the Marks family, my family now. And yeah, I have an older sister. She is now 20. Yes, she's 20. And I don't know. I think I had a pretty good childhood. It was really fun. You know, my family's just super cool. Lots of like trips and like traveling and going places.
I'm curious, I feel like a lot of people have had the experience of this huge sense of cultural disconnect, depending on like where you grew up and, being disconnected from your roots. Did you two have that experience as well? And is that kind of what provoked the search for looking for biological family members?
Yeah, definitely. That like I think I started feeling that way around like middle school. It was like when I started middle school, I started feeling like I started realizing, oh, I'm actually adopted. Like it kind of like hit me finally. And then I started like doing like some research, and I was like, my mom told me that I might have a biological sister in Texas. And so then we kind of started our search from there.
Is that how you found out about the Facebook group, or did you come across it on your own?
I did a DNA test and to see if like possibly if Tori did one. But it turns out I met a possible cousin on there and she told me about the Facebook group. So that's how I figured out about it.
I guess I'm also curious about if have you two ended up meeting each other in person yet, or has communication solely been over the internet or through Facebook or email?
Yes, we actually have met in person. We met back in November. I don't know. It was really fun. It was also it was really close together to the time where we actually found out that we were really related, which was, I don't know, there wasn't a very big time to like let it sink in before we met each other in person. But I was super happy and super excited to meet Garrett. But at the same time, there wasn't as much like enough time for me to like let it sink in. But it was still fun and I liked it.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine how that would be a very overwhelming experience. Did you meet in Texas, or did you meet like at a midpoint or somewhere?
We met in Texas because I live in Texas. I'm really actually very grateful that Garrett and his family were able to come to Texas because I don't like traveling. Flying scares me. I'm just so thankful that they adjusted to like coming here, because for me personally, I'm really bad in new situations and I don't like flying. So I'm so happy that they came here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm curious also about how the families that you grew up with reacted to this. Were they like supportive? Were they a little hesitant? Has it changed like anything with your relationships at home? It sounds like they're pretty supportive, which is very nice to hear.
Yeah, my mom was super supportive about the whole thing. Once we actually figured out that Tori was my sister, all of us just like we just bawled for like 10 minutes straight. And they were super cool. And me and my mom would stay up for like 4 years. We stayed up like every single night searching on like Facebook, Twitter, like just basically every social media app. And it was like finally I found someone who was really cool.
Definitely. I feel like a question that a lot of fellow adoptees have when trying to meet their birth family is kind of the process of getting to know one another. I know from other people in the group, like that process has been difficult, whether that's like through literal communication, like trying to find like a medium to do it, or, just that weird feeling of like, what do you say to somebody after you like finally meet a biological family member? So I guess I'm curious about how what that process of getting to know each other was like. If like connection happened immediately, you know, if it took some time, and how you two currently maintain a relationship today.
I feel like both me and Tori just connected instantly. I felt like there's no like getting to know each other. And we do like text and FaceTime every once in a while. I actually did a similar project for my senior project about like international adoption. So I interviewed Tori for this. So this is kind of similar, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, how about you, Tori?
For me personally, I had known about Garrett for a few years. I had known that I had a brother, but here's the thing. I was told, and in my papers it says that our mother kept him. So it was like, I didn't know he was here, so I wasn't looking for him here, which was a crazy thing. And also, I don't know, I've never had felt this like connection with a person before. It's like, usually I'm like pretty distant to new people. But I don't know, something about knowing that he is my flesh and blood, or at least part of him is, which is like more than I have shared with anyone ever. It's just something about that is just so amazing. It's like, I don't know, there's just that weird connection that I've never had before. Do you understand? Because I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, definitely. I mean, I haven't personally connected yet with any of my biological family back in Guatemala, but I can certainly imagine like how special that must feel to like be able to see somebody who like comes from the same place as you, like shares that relationship. So definitely, it totally makes sense. Yeah, I guess to connect to that, like, what do you think is like one of either the most valuable or just a valuable thing that you think you've learned from the experience of reconnecting with each other?
I think something that I've learned is that I'm not the only one who's gone through like that, like kind of identity crisis and like struggle of trying to like know where like I come from and everything. Because I thought that was just me, because I didn't really know anyone else who was like internationally adopted, besides like I think one other kid, but we didn't really talk much. But yeah, I thought this was like I was the only one who was like going through this. But then me and Tori, when we met up in Texas, we went for a walk and we talked, and she was like talking about like the same, basically explaining like the same feelings that I had when like we didn't like first meet each other. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I feel the same way because I am the only one that I know who has been like internationally adopted. So I didn't have like any kind of support group in this area of my life because my entire life of being here in the United States, it's been like, this is my family and I love my family more than anything. But so it's like kind of hard to have a conversation about this with your parents because it's like to them, I am like theirs. But to me, it's like there's a part of me that's missing. They may not see it, but I feel it.
Yes, I understand that feeling 100%. And that's what makes.
And I'm just so excited to have. I found the Facebook group like not very long ago, and I love going on there and reading what people say. And I just think I'm not the only one who felt that way or feels that way currently. It's like, oh, I'm not by myself. It's great. I like it. I spend a lot of my time on there.
Yeah, me as well. It's definitely very great to, I don't know. I feel like I've had a similar experience of, you know, never seeing anybody that looked like me and always just feeling like an outsider, like in family pictures and stuff, but also knowing that like my adopted parents do think of me as theirs, and sometimes they didn't feel the same way. So like forming that relationship is definitely so important. I know also like in the Facebook group, a lot of people kind of are either like beginning the search of trying to find biological family members or like have found them and don't know what to do. This might be another daunting question, but do you have any advice for somebody maybe who might be searching but doesn't necessarily know where to start, or who wants to begin that first step of, you know, reconnecting with their roots or something like that?
I'd probably say do a DNA test if you can, because I feel like that's where I gained a lot of my information. And if I wouldn't have ever like thought of doing one, I would never found the Facebook group. I would never talked to my cousin, and I would have never ended up meeting Tori. So I feel like that's really important.
Yeah, I do agree with that because I don't know. I didn't really think of maybe I have relatives here in the United States because I've never heard it. I just didn't think of it for some reason. I've always felt like everyone was back in Guatemala. But I did do DNA test to like figure out like my how much like my genealogy and stuff. That was fun. But yeah, I do recommend that you do a DNA test. That's very important to do.
Yes, definitely. That is most of my questions. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It was really great meeting both of you and getting to talk to you today.
Yeah, and thank you so much too. This is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And hope to keep in touch on the Facebook group as well.